Thank you. All right, Arko, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Arko Barman, and I am a teaching faculty in the Data to Knowledge Lab and also in the ECE and STAT departments. In the program, I teach Comp 647, which is deep learning, and also Comp 652, which is natural language processing, and finally also the capstone, which every student must take at the end of the program. Um, a little bit about myself. I have a background in machine learning, deep learning, especially in computer vision and biomedical imaging, but have also worked in other areas like signal processing and AI for healthcare. So right now, data science is a very exciting area to work in. I'm sure you've all been exposed to ChatGPT, image generation like DALI and other frameworks. And it might make you wonder how they work or what happens behind the scenes, how they developed over time. So it didn't happen in a day, right? So it took years and decades for methods to develop. And in my courses, I try to give you a flavor of how these methods developed over time from the rudimentary building blocks down to all the sophistication right now. Um, so as a part of the MDS program, if you're in the machine learning specialization, you'll encounter me much more often or much more frequently, and I'll try to introduce you to some of these algorithms and methods. Overall, I think a master's in data science is a uh, program where you're going to learn a lot of skills that are applicable to a diverse area. For example, you could be in the tech sector, energy sector, or any other sector you can think of, biomedical, for example, biotech. It has broad applications, and especially everyone is looking for people with data science knowledge to tackle the huge amounts of data that is being generated everywhere, basically. So that's a what I would say is a selling point for the masters in the data science program. But overall, I think a master's degree is really a step up from your undergrad education, and it gives you a broader as well as a deeper perspective on methods, theory, applications, and expect stuff to be a little more challenging than your undergrad, for example, because this is master's and you're going to go in depth as well as in breadth. Um, as far as how you should approach the degree program, I think um, this is a way, this is an opportunity for you to um, absorb information as well as to work in applied fields, especially when you do class projects or when you ultimately do the capstone project, you're actually going to deal with hands-on data, which often you do not get the opportunity to do in the other curriculum that you've seen before, perhaps. So we try to give you a flavor of that, and your approach should be to sort of open up and absorb as much as you can. Um, yeah, if you want to contact me, uh, just look me up on Rice's website, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Arko. And now let's hear from our students on the panel. Nicole.
Hi, y'all. Feel like it's pretty obvious where I'm from. I grew up in Houston. My name's Nicole Lewis. I am an online MDS student specializing in machine learning. I am about halfway through my program. If all goes according to plan, I'll graduate next spring. My background is in data science and sociology. And yeah, so what made me realize I wanted to do data science is an all over the place story. But I knew when I graduated, I wanted to do a master's. I didn't know exactly in what, so I took a gap year, traveled, really paid attention to what I was passionate about, what I liked, and I started a master's program in statistics, specializing in machine learning, or not machine learning, data science. It was pretty obvious that I did not want to do statistics and that I wanted to do data science. But the program I was currently in only had classes during the day and they were in person, and it just really didn't work with my schedule. I mean, I work, and I wanted more flexibility. So I started researching and I found Rice's program. It is perfect if you are working. Honestly, I treat this education as a part-time job, because you spend about as much time on it as a part-time job. So everything is always in the evenings. Always recommend going to the live sessions. They're the best. And yeah, it's your classes are small relatively. You always can contact your professor quickly, your TAs. It's just the quality of education is by far the best that I've ever received. Yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me.
Thank you, Nicole. All right, Tyler.
Hey everybody, I'm Tyler. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science that I got at Augusta University, and my capstone in that degree was a little bit of data science that I wish I could have done better. And that, more than anything, led me to Rice, because the skills that you get through this program, the Master's of Data Science, and I'm doing the specialty in business analytics, the skills that you get through this program are what you're not going to get out of your Udemy courses, because I've taken them, and you're not going to get them out of your just follow along guides, because what you get in those courses is a lot of already cleaned data, and you learn a couple lines that make the end result that you're looking for appear. This program will teach you how to go find that data, actually clean it, and turn it into something that has the insights that you want to bring to whoever you are presenting to. Right now, I'm in data visualization, and I mean, every week we do something different, and it still works because it's not specific, it's not narrow in its education. It's broad enough to give you the tools to take on whatever project is thrown at you, and that is such a rich education. And even going aside from the program specifics, Rice as a university has so many resources for your success. It is amazing. And one of the quotes that I always come back to is, no man has ever made a plant. The best you can do is create an environment for that plant to thrive. And being a student in my second semester at this university, I am very appreciative for what the university provides for the students.
Thank you, Tyler. All right, I am Scott Rixner. I'll introduce myself last here. I'm Scott Rixner. I am the faculty director of the online MDS program here at Rice, which means I'm in overall charge of the program. And so I oversee that everything goes smoothly and make sure that the students have what they need for success. Thank you, Tyler, for plugging our ability to do that. And so I will also be the moderator today. And so just a little bit about this. You can either ask questions by clicking the Q&A button down at the bottom of Zoom and typing them in, and we'll either answer them directly in the Q&A or we'll answer them live depending on the type of question. Or you can raise your hand using the reactions down at the bottom of your Zoom session, and raise your hand and I will call on you, and then you can ask your question live. I do ask, though, if you want to ask a live question, that you turn on your camera so we can see who's asking the question. It's not just a black box and a mystery voice to us, okay? We would like to meet you as well. All right, and with that, I want to stop talking and give you all the opportunity to ask the questions that you want. I'm going to kick it off with a question that was already asked in the Q&A about the live sessions and what they look like. Are they lecture, discussion sessions, or and so on? And so anyone on the panel want to take that one on?
I can take that. So your live sessions are going to be course specific. Your instructors may have different styles. For one of my courses, for instance, we all met up and then our instructor opened breakout rooms. So it was about 4 students per room. We would all work on the project for that week, and then our instructor would pop into each of those breakout rooms, look over our code, fill in any gaps that we missed. But I also have another course where we all get together and it's more of a Q&A. So you're very incentivized to look over the project before you get there so that you can ask those quality questions that will get you to where you want to end up in the project. So it's course dependent.
Bouncing off on that, I have one class that right now that the live sessions are lecture. We don't have any, like we have extra reading, but we don't have any extra videos. But I've also experienced the same thing as Tyler. So it's really different for every single class. Try and work your schedule around planning on going to the live session. It's only 1 hour once or twice a week. And it's very important. You learn a lot, whether you think you know the material super well or not.
We've got another question. Can you share insights into any industry partnerships or collaborations that provide students with opportunity for hands-on experience or internships in machine learning?
Okay, I can give it a go. Only from the perspective of the capstone course. So the capstone course, which you have to take at the end of the, towards the end of the program, is a course where we try to bring in projects from the industry or nonprofits and hospitals and, for example, the city of Houston Fire Department, and that kind of organizations, to give you a flavor of how to apply the methods you've learned over the course of the program to real world data sets. There is no guarantee that you're going to actually get an industry sponsored project in the capstone, but you're definitely going to get a project where you'll have to deal with real world data sets.
I do want to add to that if you are in our program, you are a Rice student, and that means you have access to Rice's resources, and that means all of Rice's resources. And one of those is the Center for Career Development. And they do actively help students across the university at every levels, undergraduate, master's, PhD, get jobs. And that is full-time jobs when they're done and internships while they're still here. So while the program itself, beyond, sort of these collaborations that Arko just mentioned at the capstone does not work to help students get internships, Rice does. And, students have had a lot of success in working with Rice. There's an alumni network, so you can, talk to, past graduates and help network there and try and get jobs that way. You can apply to the companies that come to career fairs. The career fairs are frequently both in person and online. And so there's lots of opportunity and help from the university in general to, get internships and get jobs after you're done if you're not just trying to advance in your current career.
There is another question. Does every class have 1 or 2 live sessions per week? Per class, we have 1 live session. If you are taking 2 classes, let's say you'll be taking 2 live sessions per week. However, we have many office hours. During those office hours, the TAs and the instructor will be available for any kind of question.
Got a question here from Melendez.
Hi, how are you all? Great meeting you guys. I just want to see, are the courses for the data science program mostly based off of Python, or is it like a mixture of R and Python?
So far, I've only experienced Python. I do think we use Anaconda in some of the classes, or at least it was introduced. I use it. It does Python and R. So it's like a one-stop shop. If you're wanting to do more R, I came in with a better understanding of R than Python, but they are pretty similar. But yeah, all the classes so far have been Python for me. Tyler, are they Python for you?
Yeah, so far they've been Python. Again, I have a good ways to go, but in my marketing classes, both 1 and 2, it was Excel and how to do the same thing in Python. So you do get that multifaceted approach so that you are proficient in whatever job you do end up in.
I will just
So
say
it's
that.
the
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna ask a follow-up question to Tyler, because he was in the business analytics specialization and data science. Is that more of a blend of like business and data science as opposed to kind of more algorithmic-based machine learning?
You're breaking up just a little bit. Were you saying that was that more of a blend of business and data science? Was that your question?
Yeah. You threw me off when you were talking about the. Oh, is that just to the data analytics specialist?
Yeah, so it's actually really, really interesting. The business analytics specialization, right, with Rice is a group between the School of Engineering and the Jones School of Business. So you do get that real business insight and the tools to handle all of that data. So it really is that blend, and like it's amazing. I've learned a lot. It like learning about how to read for the health of a business, learning specifically, just to give an example, a churn model. So your Netflix, your I mean anything with a subscription-based service, knowing how to read those numbers of subscribers, or even reverse engineering it, which was a problem with that Wayfair had, and it was um, basically put out in an academic paper by the people who worked doing that type of stuff, and the professor who taught that course knew those people, and he presented us with those tools. So again, I would have had no idea that you could even do that. And his business specialization and also his data skills like really did equip us with something that made a big difference in the world.
Nice. No, that sounds incredible. I appreciate your insight.
Yeah, of course. What's your rank?
Staff Sergeant.
All right, cool. Nice. Is that E6 for you?
I'm sorry.
Is that E6?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I was in the Marines. I'm a veteran student here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about Rice. My coworker, who's right in the other office, is in Rice's online MBA program, and I mean, he absolutely loves it.
That's great, man.
Right, great. I just wanted to add briefly that, yeah, while most of our classes are Python, if not all of them are taught in Python, I think the idea here is for you to get the conceptual knowledge about data science, which I think Tyler already said, right? And that you will be able to apply these skills to R if you end up in a job where they use R. I don't think that will be a problem. All right, I want to, Saranya, you have your hand up.
Thank you. My question was about the timings for the live sessions and the online classes. I was trying to find out from the website when they're held, and I hadn't had much success. So I wondered if the students and faculty could shed some light on that, please. Thank you.
We have it earliest 6:30 p.m. Central Time, and the latest, as far as I know, 8 p.m.
Thank you for that. So there are no classes during the day for this online program?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Right, we got a question. This is probably for you, Arko. Can the capstone project be theoretical? For example, a study on quantum ML?
Yeah, I saw the question. So every capstone project is a hands-on data science project. So there is no theoretical project, right? So everything is applied. However, there is a very strong literature review component in the capstone where you have to review literature on a particular problem or a given set of models or architectures or methods, but it cannot be purely theoretical. It has to be an applied data science problem.
Great. Trishla, I think if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I see your hand raised.
Yes, yeah, you did pronounce it correctly. So I have two questions. First off, would there be research opportunities available that we could apply, that we could join? And then would there also be like classes to teach certain tools like Tableau and Spotfire?
I'll answer the first half of that question and let somebody else answer the second. So this is a course-based master's program, which in general basically means that it is not a research program, and that is true of the on-campus and the online MDS here at Rice. That does not mean you can't do research. It means there's no structured sort of way for you to do so. Master students at Rice are, you can reach out to faculty and search out research opportunities with faculty. And if you can find a faculty member that is willing to take you on in a research project, there is nothing preventing you from working with that faculty member. I will say that it is rare that our, students do that, but it is not disallowed. And it does happen occasionally. And so that is a potential opportunity, but I think if that's your primary, objective or desire, this is not something that is common in the program. And then the second half of your question, I'll see if somebody else can answer that one.
Yeah, I can help. So regarding Tableau, I'm in data visualization right now. So Tableau was the first maybe like week or two. What was taught to us is that eventually you hit kind of a wall in Tableau where you can't make things that are more custom. So at that point, you will hop over to Python and proceed to do your visualizations in Python. So yes, you can get a little bit of Tableau knowledge. There are some projects that you can do like the Python for the course and then additionally do it in Tableau with a little bit of guidance. But it's primarily going to be programmatic visualizations with Python and Matplotlib. Finance will use Plotly. So it's more the libraries within Python.
Okay, all right.
Regarding your research question, and Dr. Rixner, correct me if I'm wrong here, but there is something called Fondren Fellows, which is more of the research how do I say it? Research program through Rice. I missed the deadlines for summer, but they are there. I can send you the link for that if you'd like, just so you can read up on it and see if it meets your needs.
Okay. And actually, as a follow-up to the to one of my questions regarding like Tableau, would courses that you have done in the past in like your undergraduate years be transferable? Like I have also done a data visualization course with like various Python packages such as IPy widgets and Altair.
So,
would that also be possible?
So university does not allow you to transfer credit that you use towards another degree. So you would not be able to get credit for having taken data visualization, but we will evaluate everything on a case-by-case basis. If you can show that you took a class that is effectively equivalent to one of our classes, but cannot get transfer credit for it, we would discuss a substitute, for instance. Right. So
Okay.
you'd still have to take, some class, but I think it makes no sense to take a class if it, is something that you've already taken. Now, to be fair, if it was an undergraduate class, this is a graduate class, there may be additional, things here. So we would have, like I said, evaluated on a case-by-case basis to see, is it truly equivalent or not? And probably the instructor would be involved.
Okay. Thank you.
John asked a couple of questions. One was attendance requirements for the live sessions. We don't require any attendance. It's strongly recommended though to attend the live sessions. What else? Do we require computer science background for the program? No, everything is designed for non-CS majors. However, having some programming background will be very helpful.
I actually would like to talk a little bit more on that, if that's right. So I come from a blended background. I have an undergrad in data science, but it was more introductory level. The program was being developed, so I was a comp sci major, minoring in math, and then I was comp sci and sociology, and then finally data science and sociology. There are definitely classes that you need to have more of an understanding or background for, but when you enter the program, you're not going to be taking those classes. That's why there are prereqs, and there's also sometimes pre-req courses you can go through, but I'm gonna plug it. There is something called the Bridge course. It happens this summer. It's like half a semester program with Dr. Strach. It's basically a massive review course. It's not graded. You're there just to make sure that you're ready for one, the pace of the program, and two, the type of program. So make sure you really understand all that math and basic comp sci, which you also get in classes. But if you're interested in that or want to learn more about that course, I will be the tutor/TA for that course. So yeah, you don't have to have like a bachelor's in comp sci. You don't even have to have a certificate in it. You can still do it. But the Bridge course really helps make sure you're actually ready to enter the program.
We have a question online. Is there a general plan that students follow as far as what classes to take and when, and how many classes do people normally take per semester? So I will say there's not a general plan necessarily, but we have a student success advisor, and you can meet with her and talk with her as much as you want. And the students may want to tell you how great she is, or maybe not, but I think they probably will tell you how great she is. And she will work with you to come up with an individualized plan for you and talk about what makes the most sense. She will advise you on how many classes she thinks make sense for you, given your situation and so on. How many classes do people normally take? I think that that's usually one or two. And I think it all depends on your other commitments. You know, if you have a full-time job and a family, taking more than one class is going to be quite the endeavor for you. You know, but many people, you know, have fewer commitments and they can take more classes. I think that's, does anyone want to plug Amanda?
Yes, absolutely.
Amanda's the best. Oh my
She's
God.
phenomenal.
She also has a mentor-mentee program. I did that. It's because like I was such imposter syndrome. You know, I was talking to Amanda like every single week. That's also an amazing thing that Rice does. You talk to somebody who's been in the program a little bit longer. But yeah, I love Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda talked me out of doing, or not talked me out of, but talked me down from what I thought I had to do, which was take full time. So I've on my second semester of doing halftime courses, and it's been amazing. Oh my God, the difference that it has made. And my wife is actually taking 3 courses in a different university, and I basically channeled Amanda and got her to take 2, and now her workload is much more manageable, and we're just it's amazing. Aside from that, I did see in the Q&A Destiny Redfern asking about tuition funding programs for veterans aside from the GI Bill. Destiny, are you able to type? Are you a veteran yourself? Or can you speak?
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yep.
Yes, I am a veteran actually,
Okay,
and
great.
current reservist.
Great. Do you have a disability rating?
I do not, but I am submitting my claim this year actually. So I'm getting my documents. So
Excellent.
I am aware of the I can't remember the VRED. Thank you. I'm
Yes.
so sorry.
Yes. No, that's okay. That's okay. That's exactly what I was going to plug. And for any other veterans who are here, the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program, you need a disability rating to apply for it. Once you get it, the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program does not have the same cost limit as the GI Bill. The GI Bill will pay for all of a public institution. Rice is a private university. So if you can qualify for the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program, your tuition will be covered. It doesn't.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That's how I'm here. And
Okay.
I mean, it's amazing. And
Well, hopefully I
after,
get some news back before the fall semester starts.
yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. In addition to that, they will help you find employment afterwards. So like you have to find basically your dream job, and you submit that to them, and you say
Mhm.
what that dream job would take. So I found a data scientist position the listing listed a master's degree, and I had my acceptance letter from Rice. So I put it all together in a little package, and they approved it. And so they are paying for my school. They gave me like a tech package. So, you know, it's an online school. If you show that you have a need for that, then they'll really help you out. So that would be my recommendation as opposed to the GI Bill, because the GI Bill will meet a cap in the tuition, whereas the VRNE just won't.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much for that information. Also, can I connect with you, I guess, maybe like on LinkedIn or something if I have any other further questions just about that process?
Yeah, go ahead. It's just Tyler Aguilar.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gage, I see you have your hand raised.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for y'all's time, by the way. I really appreciate it. I'm kind of at the fork in the road of me trying to figure out what I want to do professional education wise. So I kind of already work in the field, but in multifamily commercial real estate. And so I'm trying to figure out if I want to go more of a statistics route or data science. And I know like the machine learning specialization has 2 stats courses. But a lot of the data I use and a lot of the analysis I run already is pretty quantitative and regression heavy. And so I'm just trying to figure out if I should be looking more towards a program that is more statistical and like applied statistics, or if this program will give you enough of a foundation to keep moving that direction. Thank you.
This is exactly what I went through. Because in undergrad, I loved my math courses and I didn't like my hardware courses. So I thought I wanted to do statistics. I'm taking my first statistical course next semester. It's going to be statistical machine learning. I don't think anyone can tell you what to do with yourself, but I'm just going to plug why I think doing data science and specifically continue on in machine learning is the route to go, or at least why I thought so. So statistics, the concepts are really, really important. In data science and machine learning, we're using statistic concepts every single day. You have to understand the actual formula, understand how it works, why we're using logistic regression, why we're using decision trees and that sort of thing. But the main difference I found is that we get to code it instead of doing it by hand. And it's also, I feel like I understand the statistics more after going deeper into data science than I did just doing statistics, because you're coding it. You know, you're right in there with it. You're looking at the data you have and figuring out which pieces go where. And so if you have to look at what you want to do at the end. What is your dream job? Do you want to be more of an analyst or do you want to be a statistician? And they're very close, but slightly different in terms of application and what you're actually going to do. But I definitely, I will always plug data science. That's why I'm here. Gage, did that answer your question, or is that all right?
Oh, I mean, it's a life search, you know, but it definitely does. It definitely does provide some insight. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
I want to quickly answer. There's a question about, given that we're using Python, do you have to write everything from scratch or do you get to use ML packages? And I think the answer is dependent on the class and what exactly that class is teaching you. And so you will do both. I think there are classes in which you'll write things probably from scratch, but there are definitely classes where you're going to use, pandas, scikit, keras, other kinds of machine learning packages to accomplish things. You're not going to reinvent the wheel there. So you are going to learn how to use those packages. All right, Hans, I see your hand raised.
I'm turning on my camera, but I apologize for that. Okay, yes, from listening in, it seems to me that a great deal of the program is, there we are. Okay, the great deal of the program seems to be more toward the combination of both big picture and looking at things down to the level where you are conceptualizing everything, like even down almost the way that like a real analysis math class where you're formula driven.
I think your question is, are you correct? Is the, your analysis of what you're hearing correct? Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the faculty or students want to answer that?
Yeah, I would say that I guess understanding the process and understanding I'll put it this way, you can write any program and get a result, but you have no idea if that result is a good sign or a bad sign. So really understanding the final output of your program in pursuit of whatever your goal is really why it dives deep into I guess the analysis and what you should expect. Especially in marketing, in that course, I mean, we had, an R squared, and we had like in finance, we have mean squared errors. I didn't know what those were. And so if I hadn't learned those and I just knew how to run the program, I wouldn't be able to critique my own performance and my own approaches to the various problems that we were given in the course. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps a great deal, especially since your focus is on the business analytics. Because right now, for a competitive program, I'm going through a thing called the Simon Games, where there's a simulation. If you win, you get a full ride, but that's another story. But I'm going through that when you're doing the Tableau, the data visualization. You're supposed to only spend 5 hours per week, but I'm spending like 20 hours in order to fully understand everything right down to level, because each decision you make, you think it's going to have a linear outcome, but it ends up being 20 different cascading results. And trying to it's like trying to swallow a tsunami of information and then trying to put it into a nice orderly pattern. It's not easy, and it's caused me to go deeper and deeper than I ever expected to.
Yeah, that sounds like my weeks of homework.
Oh God.
Oh, but I mean, the good part is, it takes 20 hours this time. It might take 10 the next time, and it might take 5 the next time. It's a process, and you have to believe in that growth. And the only reason it's taking 20 hours in the beginning is because you might not have all those tools yet. But once you acquire them and you understand how to use them, that's really the gain of the program and the learning process.
So it's a big recursive process.
Well, I wouldn't say recursive, because it is, forward thinking. I don't know that we've had to necessarily go back and relearn anything that we've learned in my earlier courses. And that's kind of the joy too, is that once you learn the stuff, you are ready to take on that next challenge and take on that next course and excel in it. You once you get these tools, you understand that it's not necessarily a concern of difficulty, it's a concern of approach and where to apply which tool to really succeed at whatever your goal is.
Now, see, last question. Which you think was harder intellectually, boot camp or this master's program?
This master's program, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
In boot camp, all I had to do was wait for the sun to go up and come down 90 times, and after 3 months, it was done. This time,
were you Hollywood or Paris Marine?
Hollywood.
Okay.
All right, I want to combine two of our online questions here. One is for the students, on average, how many hours do you guys spend on homeworks and projects a week? And I'll combine that with, is it recommended to do this program while doing a full-time job? I think it's really related. The classes are at night, so they are meant for people who have full-time jobs, but I think the amount of time you spend is completely relevant to, what it's like to do this with a full-time job.
Yes. So, for me, since it's an online course, I just kind of do it wherever I can. I don't track the hours. Like if I'm waiting at a doctor's appointment, I'll pull up my Canvas and maybe be reading something, trying to figure out a problem. But I would say it's also dependent on the course. I did not spend as much time on my classes and projects last semester as I did this semester. It's almost doubled. I'm in the beginning, I would say I was spending about 20 hours a week on the classes. Now that we're more towards the final semesters, I'm spending at least 30, especially because I'm having issues in my project. But it's still doable. I still work. I'm also gonna tag in Leanna, you said what data sets are used in the various classes. It's so different every single time. A lot of the classes I'm doing, they just show you, and then you go search and find data sets that you use in your projects. For completing it in a year, if you work full time, start with just doing one class a semester. And that will not get you to finish in 1 year. I'm doing 2 classes a semester, and I started last fall, and I'm going to be supposed to graduate next spring. So like a year and a half. But I worked 2 part-time jobs instead of one 40-hour clock in, clock out. So it's just, if your work is really demanding, if you can leave it, it's definitely doable. It's made for working students. But sorry, I have a cat. But don't expect to, if you're working full time, I would not put that pressure on you to finish in a year. You want to make sure that you understand the material and that you have time to learn the material and not just get the degree. And that would kind of be what you would be doing.
All right, Saranya, I see you have your hand up again.
Thank you. My question is about the capstone project. I was wondering whether one selects one's own group since it's a group project, and also is it the group's responsibility to find a client who can provide the data for analysis, or will the program match the group with a client? Thank you.
Okay, I'll answer that question. So how this works is we try to keep online and in-person students separate because of logistics. And online students usually get to form their own groups. So if it's, so the groups are between 4 to 6 students. And so depending on how many students are enrolled, you're going to be divided into groups. And this is done based on an application process where we gauge your background in a wide variety of applied areas like, say, computer vision, NLP, signal processing, so on and so forth. So that, we don't have people with widely different interests in the same group, for example. And then based on that, we will see what are the available client projects in that semester. And if we can fit you with one of those, if not, then we ask you to find your own open source data set and we help you throughout the process. It's not like you're on your own. And yeah, so that's sort of the entire process.
All right, thank you, Arko. Okay, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Thank you for coming. I hope that we were able to answer most, if not all, of the questions that you all had. Do not hesitate to fill out the online form on our website. If you do that, you will be in contact with one of our enrollment coaches, and they will be able to answer any additional questions you have or put you in touch with the right people to do so. So I hope that, again, we see many of you in the future, that you do apply and enroll in our program, and we look forward to it. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful day.